in honor of New Zealand, God defend New Zealand.
Rapturous applause then for the baby Blacks of New Zealand. Belting out their national anthem for inspiration, and one or two Welshmen celebrating that marvellous victory for their team. Who will join them? We will know in an hour and a half. Well, I hope you're clinging on to something solid, because it's one heck of a semi-final coming up. New Zealand against England. The first challenge will be laid down by the Baby Blacks in the form of the haka, or their take on the haka, led by young Sheridan Rangihuna. The haka has been greeted by the crowd here at the Stade de la Bean with great fervour, almost as much fervour as we saw in the eyes of Joseph Edwards there. Taylor Adams, the scrum half, and it's a new experience certainly for these young men in white shirts. Well, we had some last-minute drama, Simon Mannix, in the previous semi-final, and no quarter asked and no quarter given That's how it's going to be, I think, for the next hour and a half or so. It's going to be a rough ride for Stuart Berry.
Without a doubt, he's going to have his hands full here tonight. We've got two teams who love the physical nature of the game. New Zealand, they'll have to take their game up a level from their last outing at this stadium against Ireland. And well, England, even though they dropped the game in pool play, they have been very impressive in this tournament thus far.
They certainly have. They've overcome the pressure against Australia and against Ireland to claim their rightful place once again in the Junior Rugby World Championship semi-final. And with first possession against the team seeded 7th in the tournament, England, New Zealand, their second seeds. They were finalists last year. They lost to the eventual winners, South Africa, by 22 points to 16 in Cape Town. So first touch of the ball for outside half, Henry Slade. This is Jack Nowell up from fullback, the Exeter Chiefs representative. Some huge men on both sides. Slade with a high speculative kick, giving chase was Harry Sloan, but the ball came off Joe Webber, the Waikato fullback. Jason Emery, who with Ardie Surveyor has experienced Super 15 rugby. And if ever there was a time for Jason Emery to show his credentials, then this is it. He and Surveyor have played a lot of rugby this season. Tackling low and hard, Harry Sloan, 19 years of age last Monday, the man wearing 13 for England, from the Harlequins Club in London. Adams just pops it up there. New Zealand retaining possession for the opening 2 minutes. Webber spotted the gap. Here the dancing feet. Play on, says referee Berry. And a pass to Lolangi Fisinia looked to be forward slightly. But good defending by England.
England defending very well. Patient build-up by the New Zealand side here, going through plenty of phases. Webber here, if you show him half a gap, he's going to try and hit it. Here he gets the hands just through. A line ball called there right in front of the assistant referee. And unfortunately, just Fisinia unable to control the kick downfield. There was plenty of space to kick into. Encouraging start by New Zealand nonetheless.
Good throw from Cowan-Dickie with the mullet haircut, the hooker. For England, he was really recognisable. Just a flash of a tint of blonde. There he is. At the back of that rolling maul, Alex Day. He's a big scrum half, isn't he? There's a big game also. There he is, 3 tries against the US of A. This is Ross Moriarty. More of him later. Jack Clifford, the captain. Picking his angle there was the helmeted fullback, Jack Nowell. Let's see what England can do with the ball in hand, testing the New Zealand defence. Here is Danny Hobbs-Awoyemi. Sam Hill.
Release black 1.
Muffin Leo, it was in with a tackle, stopping the English prop in his tracks there. Matt Hankin from Saracens, he was 7 for England. Reaching out for that one, Henry Slade. Oh, good footwork here from Anthony Watson. Taking play deep into New Zealand territory, into their 22. Cowan-Dickie. No flashy stuff from him, I can assure you. That's for the
Release that 4.
lazy man's route. Straight down the middle. Sam Hill. There was also half Henry Slade, and the New Zealand defensive effort is up to the task. As Clifford has another go. His 19th game in the under-20s shirt. Watson.
Feed 2, release.
And with Fiver from the star players in their performance against Ireland. But getting off his feet, not supporting his own body weight. And Stuart Berry, with no hesitation in pointing to the posts. Or giving the penalty, rather.
Well, if the New Zealand start was pretty impressive, the English one has been outstanding. They're carrying the ball very strongly into tackle. Fiver losing his feet here over the ball, just losing his feet. Well, he never really had rights to that because he didn't clear away from the tackle area. Just riding too high up on the tackle, New Zealand in that situation. You'll see there's no release. He was Sevilla with a very good tackle back on Watson. There you see an excellent technique by Sevilla over the ball, unable to get his hands on it. And England controlled the ball brilliantly in that build-up there. New Zealand, they look to be a bit fragile around the ruck area. There seems to be something that England have spotted maybe in their preparation of this week, and you can be sure it was very thorough. But there seem to be holes, and England have tried twice to probe that area by shifting the pass out one and then bringing it back and trying to attack around a weak seam that they seem to have targeted around that ruck area. It'll be interesting to watch how that develops.
First chance for points then falls to the England kicker here. Henry Slade from in front of the post opens England's account. They lead New Zealand after 5 minutes of play by 3 points to 0.
Henry Slade. New Zealand 0, England 3.
So here again, we invite you to get involved in this match by tweeting at JWC, at IRB Juniors rather, hashtag JWC 2013. Alex Day back to the penalty kicker and outside half. Henry Slade finds good touch on his own 10-metre line on the far side of the field. Nick Walsh, the England coach.
If you felt there was an area that England may go after as well, may go after this New Zealand side, it was certainly going to be in set piece.
Been taking the line out, and Simon Hickey up quickly to take that ball, which was placed neatly in front of him by Taylor Adams. There's Adams again, and Hickey. Big Patrick Tuipulotu tonight at 5 at tight head lock. That's interesting, behind big Shoni Mafileo. They know that England will come, or have come, with a big scrum. Tuipulotu has started previous games at 4. Here he is. Using his basketball skills to good effect there. Lovely work by Sevilla. Almost managed to release Joe Webber.
Well, just unfortunate there with the knock-on at the end. There was a penalty advantage being played, and as we said, big Tuipulotu here in the midfield, shown real strength. You'll see him a lot through the middle of the field. Collins does well here and uses the space up. There, Sevilla just forcing it a touch. He was under pressure. Webber again, showing up on the outsides. Just a little bit guilty, getting a bit flat early on here, Webber. And obviously they're very keen and want to get involved into the game, but they're going to have to hold their depth just a touch. Even on the double miss they threw from the line out earlier, the English defence slided very nicely. They're looking very composed here, England, in the first 7 minutes.
Hobbs-Awoyemi making his first start alongside Cowan-Dickie and Wilson on the tight head.
Number 1 black.
Brighouse is the man pinged by referee Berry. Jack Clifford wastes no time whatsoever in
Tackler roll.
setting off downfield. Change of direction from Henry Slade. Gets good height on his kick to test Lolangi Ficinia.
Stop.
Neat chip through from the wing three-quarter. One-handed. Fleet-footed. Henry Slade. Nowell. He's got a useful boot on him too now then. With space to run, Joe Webber. Well, he might have kicked into the wide open spaces. That's exactly what Hickey has done, putting the ball behind England. Cowan-Dickie is the man back there, covering. As New Zealand play on through Hickey. England scrambling back into defence here as New Zealand come again. Looking to press home their advantage here. Then Hickey, lovely pass to Mafileo. He's well covered though in the midfield by Sam Hill. The men over, if they can work this space. Clear for Flurry. Hurry Fiver. 2 tries against Ireland. And there he is, the former head boy at Wesley College. In the hunt once again. My star player certainly against the Irish. Hame Fiver opens the scoring for New Zealand.
Well taken try, great awareness here. It came from a quick line out, which Michael Collins played brilliantly through the midfield here. I thought the play was going to be shut down here. They did very well here. Again, Artie Savia in, he's sniffing the ball out. Hickey gets it away under big pressure. The easy hands-on. They had numbers to burn in favour. A very good finish. They held their width very well. Very good shape about this New Zealand attack early on to stretch them from side to side. The players taking up the space and an easy run in for favour there in the end. But it was nicely worked from the... I enjoyed the kick from Hickey earlier in the build-up play to it. He saw the space in behind, albeit great covering play from the English hooker, Cowan-Dickie. It was Collins who decided to play it quickly. Well, they seem to be right on it here early on, both teams, don't they? And it's got that feeling it's going to to and fro all night, because I think both teams look very comfortable with the ball in hand, and even England trying to play up from the inside their 22, looking comfortable with the ball. That's going to be important.
Simon Hickey from the near touchline sees his conversion attempt drift wide, but New Zealand have the first try of this semi-final, and they lead England after almost 11 minutes of play by 5-3.
See the bit at the end of it here. His hands through. Just put it behind the back there, and there it is. Favour. Easy finish for him into the corner.
It's a proud record that New Zealand have. They've never failed to reach a championship final. They were beaten for the first time by Wales in pool play last year by 9-6. And they avenged that defeat in the semi-final in Cape Town. And lost out for the second time to South Africa in the final. Severe. Leading by example once again. He's played a lot of rugby this season, has Artie Savia.
Joe Webber that time being penalised for a side clean out. Sevilla did very well initially. Thought he'd done all the hard work, but just a lack of accuracy from his support players there. And on this occasion, Webber coming in from the side, giving an opportunity here to Henry Slade to step up. And well, New Zealand taking the long kickoff again. Edwards did very well from the kickoff. We'll see Sevilla breaking here. Just note the ball presentation here, coming in. Well, that probably doesn't give us the best of angles to do it there, but I'd suggest possibly Alex Day came in from the side as well to get in there and try and disturb the breakdown area, but Stuart Berry, the referee, there right on the spot.
So this kick from Henry Slade to give the lead back to England. Slade from the Exeter Chiefs. Had an excellent Six Nations campaign as England claimed the championship. From some 40 metres with the angle. That's a terrific kick from Henry Slade. It looked to be drifting wide or the far upright, but then it curved back in at the last minute. And wasn't that a wonderful sight? The grandstand beneath us here, full to capacity. Acknowledging the effort, that sterling supreme effort from outside half Henry Slade, which has given the lead back to England for the second time. 6-5, that's England's lead. Welcome viewers all over the world to Brittany in northwest France and to Vannes, this beautiful university town. Chris Boyd, New Zealand head coach, keeping his own counsel, I think. Stuart Berry again, like Luke Pearce before him in the previous semi-final, having a quick word here with the two sets of front rowers.
With the left foot option England have, and Henry Slade at number 10, who's stacked up out on the left-hand side here. Makes life a little bit more difficult for Joe Webber, who's trying to cheat and cover the field this way. So options either way.
Nowell is up from full-back on the narrow side, Day. And here is Nowell. He's got Watson out on the right. Anthony Watson from the London Irish Club. Lafaleo's down in midfield. Those are big hits coming in from Don Brighouse. hits are coming thick and fast, aren't they? That was Sam Hill who felt the full force of that tackle. Day to his colleague in Northampton, Hobbs-Awoyemi. Little chip back into the box to test Joe Webber, perhaps, but plenty of time for Webber to call the mark. And he'd be pleased with that kick. He was practicing those at the captain's run yesterday and getting good distance on his kicks.
Certainly some big impacts going in there, and there was well, that was the advantage from the knock-on. We'll just see there as trying to make the pass, trying to get away. Brickhouse doing very well, but both sides, the ball carries from England, very strong. They're looking very strong in the contact area, as is the New Zealand defence. We've got to remind ourselves that these men are under 20. They're some big men, very physical, real physical approach to the game that they bring.
It makes the game even more exciting when the likes of Jack Clifford breaks downfield, and one more pass should bring the try. What a fantastic try that was. Could well be the try of the championship, scored in the end by Matt Hankin, but the foundation was laid by the captain, Jack Clifford. Tremendous pace from the Harlequins, number 8, and England have stretched their lead to 6 points.
Well, Clifford did superbly well. If you're going to hang off the tackles, he's really going to hurt you. He showed it all tournament here. Here's the carry, just busts on the inside of Artie Savia and Brickhouse on that occasion. And here he is, the defence is holding off. You've got to shut down his space at this time here. Hankin, another big, powerful runner. And that is a superbly taken try, well constructed by the English, 2 members of the back 3, showing the threat that they possess right across the park, England, and out to a 13-5 lead. And you've got to say they're good for it here, really. They're really taking it to New Zealand in all their carries. Very well taken. It was an off-the-top lineup. Pretty simple play through the hands here of Slade. And there comes the big man right through with good feet just before contact. That's what I did. But here you can see the defence holding off. Too much space. And that situation there, the back 3 between Webber and Visinia, they've got to shut that space down a lot quicker. That a very disappointing play from the back 2 there for New Zealand.
Yeah, and Matt Hankin, it has to be said, when he was at school, he was either a centre or fullback, and shows that he's not lost none of that pace. The young man who started his rugby career at 9 years of age with Beckenham RFC, and they'll be applauding that effort from their man.
Coming Black. A little bit more, please, Black. Thank you. Right, hookers, maintain your positions.
Remember, send in your tweets.
Straight and wait for my call.
We've already received one from Wayne Coburn. Reckon that was one of the best hackers I've seen in a long time. Good luck, guys. Well, your guys are trailing by 13-5 at the moment.
Steady!
But they're quite capable of overturning that deficit. And here they come through Taylor Adams to Simon Hickey into midfield quickly for Michael Collins, a star player certainly in the opening rounds of this tournament.
Hands in the ruck.
England crowding the ruck area and forcing the error from New Zealand. So Slade, no real hurry to get this ball away.
12.
Safely into touch.
Well, you'll see the counter-rucking here. Collins takes it on. I think it's Sam Hill comes in. No, it's not. It's a fly half who makes a tackle in there on that occasion was saved. But then the counter-rucking effort there from the try scorer, Hankin, was just superb. Did extremely well there. Got over the ball. It's all about body position and body height and getting your shoulders under the oppositions. Hankin did it extremely well there, and again just emphasising the athletic ability that is here within this English side, and they're more than capable of handling anything that New Zealand have physically to throw at them.
And you're looking here, Simon, at future stars of the game. The guy throwing in there, Cowan-Dickie. Certainly one to look out for. Got tackling again, and in very quickly was the England hooker. Good hands from the big man. Webber to Visinia. Game played at a high tempo. Good skills as well from Don Brighouse there. looking to bring Jason Emery in onto the pass. And England in one orderly line across the field up very quickly in defence. Webber just can't get away. Joseph Edwards, the lethal underhanded pass, finds a Surveyor battling away. Pushing England back a metre or two. Now on the front foot. A little depth in the New Zealand attack here. Perhaps might open the door for Fuatai. Oh, poor luck. And that's what Fuatai loves to do. Loves to link up. Makes the break himself. Just that little neat offload.
Well, I think New Zealand are showing a lot of patience in their build-up, but I think they may be going to have to resort to a bit more kicking here, maybe a touch earlier in their build-up play, as it was on this occasion. Fuatai made the half break on the outside. There's been some great hands in all this build-up work by the front rows. Here he is taking the outside bust, and there's the forward pass, called by the assistant referee on that side, Emery. Well, it was all in vain, and we come back to the scrum. The English defence shifting extremely well, and even the mismatches. The second rows tackling midfielders, they're looking comfortable.
Yeah, England's come back against South Africa in their second pool match. They surely have been their best 40-minute effort. Webber seemed to carry that one back into the 22. Oh, wow, that was a poor kick.
I think it's beyond what a charge down would be. He's had time to catch it.
Good luck in catching that one. The referee felt he was too far away to call it a charge, and he had time to catch it. It came at him like a well-struck two-iron, didn't it? Really flew low and hard. An appalling kick from Webber, and they got out of jail with one of those unfortunate decisions that you see sometimes go against team, where it's I would more call an accidental offside, and it was more a reactionary piece of play, as we just see here. Webber hitting it, bang. There it is, the try scorer. Hankin unable to do anything about it, and unfortunately, it was Sam Hill, was it, who was just up ahead of him in play there, and the natural reaction is to go for the ball, isn't it? But unfortunately, offside position, line out All Blacks, 30 out.
The try scorer, Epilahame Faiva. Adams spins it out of Sevilla in the first 5/8 position in the standoff.
I'm happy, no effect.
Hickey loses sight of the ball.
Forward off the hand.
And momentum is lost. Simon Hickey, ex-King's College Auckland, outstanding cricketer, as well as more than an accomplished rugby player. This is his third consecutive game.
Make more of an effort off.
Just saw the last difference of the English possession inside their own half. They went one phase of play and then straight away for the kicking option, whereas New Zealand have been trying to play it out, trying to work through 6-7 phases of play. You know, it's a contrasting styles in rugby here. And the England, I think it could play into the English hands. That's exactly what they want to do, try and keep the pressure on, because their defensive line is working extremely well for England thus far after 23.
That's a better scrimmage from New Zealand, but again, it's Clifford who saves the day. New Zealand nudge it forward, so England have another stab at it, and there are men out there if the ball can be worked out wide. This is Scott Wilson, the Newcastle Falcons prop forward. Howard looking for work off the left wing. 2 tries against the USA last time out. Slade. Oh, that's a neat little chip over the head of Lolangi Fisinia. Did well under pressure, did Fisinia. Cavalry now arrives. Adams looking to pick out the ball receiver here. There he is. That's Scott Barrett. He's got quite a lot to live up to, having seen his brother Bowden score his debut try for New Zealand in the 30-0 victory over France last weekend. Good recycled ball there for England. Change of direction and back into contact. Hobbs-Awoyemi. Nowell. With that little hitch kick, very often fools the defenders. England penalised for the squeeze ball, but in the meantime, there's an Englishman down midway between the 22-metre line of New Zealand and their 10-metre line.
He's been down for some time. That was from the ball carry earlier of Vicinha and back play. It could be a bit of a head clash when, as you say, the supporting players arrived in there from New Zealand to clean out. Again, New Zealand look like they're struggling around the breakdown area, don't they? Just that when England are carrying the ball into that area, one pass out and then shift it back to the inside, they're making good inroads through there. They're going to really have to tighten up in there. But again, trying to play rugby from inside their own half, and England quite happy to see New Zealand doing that. Just let the pressure build, let the pressure build. I'm sure they would have taken this after 24 minutes to be up by 8 points clear of this New Zealand side.
They look good value for their 8-point advantage as well. They look very composed, very confident. All concerns are now surrounding the man down on the ground. Can't see yet who it is from here. But the medical attention was on immediately just to make sure. I think it's the try scorer, Matt Hankin, who's the man receiving attention. Yeah, just making sure that he's in proper order. Well, that's a good sign.
He's had an excellent start to the game, hasn't he? He's been very present, not only scoring the try, but very present in all his breakdown work. His counter-rucking work's been quite exceptional. I know it was on Barrett's carry rather than there, just dropping the head. We'll just see slight technical fault there, not nice to see. He takes a knee on the head, and rightly so, take him off to check him out. There's a 15-minute window allowed here for the concussion test to be carried out by the medical staff.
Yeah, he looks okay, but as you say, he'll be checked out and could well be back before too very long. In the meantime, his replacement is David Sisi from the London Irish club. There he is, wearing 20, a back row forward, and an England under-18 representative. Interesting mix, an English mother and an Italian-Scottish father, and who's born in Germany. David Sisi. So 15 minutes to play in this entertaining first half. Edwards takes at the back. Number 8 normally, Joseph Edwards. Pass appeared to be forward, and referee Berry was in fact waiting for an English advantage, which never accrued. So he'll call them back. Stuart Berry, the referee. It's good to see him back on the field of play. Was involved in a very nasty accident last September in Durban and shattered a few bones in his arm, but thankfully he's back in the fold and taking his place here as the South African representative on the refereeing panel. There were 9 referees,
keep it honest,
sole representative of each country, and there's terrific banter between them.
touch, sit.
It's a development ground for referees as well as aspiring international rugby stars. Picked out the back there by Jack Clifford and Fuatai. Wasn't expecting that one so soon. Unintentionally knocked forward there by Farsi Fuatai on the far left.
New Zealand continue making mistakes like this. It's harder and harder for them to get a foothold in this game. No possession to work with. First of all, it was the forward pass thrown from the back of the line out by Taylor Adams. Now it's Fuatai there, just unable to control the ball in that situation. And just slowly, England squeezing the life out of this New Zealand side already here in the first half.
Well, that's an enviable record that the Baby Blacks have in these tournaments. They've only conceded, they only conceded 23 tries in the run-up to this tournament since 2008. Ireland scored 3 against them. Australia also scored 1. Cowan-Dickie. Can play at prop or at hooker. Saw him play in, I think it was the LV Cup, the Anglo-Welsh Cup last season. Certainly very impressive player. Man of the match awards in 2 games in the last 6 Nations. That's a monster of a scrum from England. Clean ball for the English backs to play with. Watson over from the right. Lovely hand from Slade through the legs. Then from Sam Hill, and Nowell asked to carry the ball forward. Almost up to the New Zealand 22. But New Zealand going forward and holding the man off the floor to claim the scrum. And Adi Sevilla, well, he's won 1 or 2 crucial turnovers for his team in this tournament, hasn't he? He saved the day probably against Australia, and he turned over a very crucial ball right at the death against Ireland as well.
I just wonder how long New Zealand can rely on this man to create everything for them, and certainly in their defensive work. Here he's coming from a scrum. He's making the tackle and the turnover out here in the 15-metre channel. The New Zealand players have got to stand up a little bit more here. Here's a guy who leads by absolute example. We've seen him out on his feet, haven't we, Win, in the past couple of games that he's played for New Zealand. And dare I say it, he's at it again. And there are boys around him who've really got to start standing up and giving him some assistance.
Collins looking to bring Emery into the attack. But the English defence waiting for him and having to rely in the end on the big Pat Tuipulotu, 120 kilograms, the man from the Ponsonby Rugby Club in Auckland. Ficina sets it up on his own 10-metre line. Hickey, the big men are in midfield. Here's one of them, Bowden Barrett, from the famous Barrett family of Taranaki. Hickey, lovely pickup. Collins, certainly impressed by Michael Collins in this tournament. All the talk has been of Jason Emery. I fancy he's been overshadowed by Michael Collins in the opening matches. Last man up is Adam Byrne. Has ambitions to play professional rugby. So 10 minutes to the break as Hickey picks his spot.
They need to change. They've got to change it up tactically here in New Zealand. They're just going sideways, trying to go through the midfielders. We see the try scorer, Hankin, obviously being cleared by the medical staff, and he'll make his way back on. So that's very encouraging news for the young man. It's certainly not a game. He's already had a big impact on it, and he'll certainly want to be involved for a bit longer yet. But England looking so comfortable defensively, and New Zealand, well, they're going to have to change it up. I'd suggest they've got to try and take it through the middle a little bit more. England just spreading and countering everything New Zealand throwing at them at the moment.
Yeah, Hankin back on. Some tweets from Alex John and John Marsh watching a cracking game of rugby. And the number 8 for England is a monster, says Alex John. Quality try, even though scored by the number 7. Yeah, some big men in this English side. Get involved. Send us your tweets. And it's good to know that we have a huge audience for this tournament all over the world, growing in stature every year, that's for sure, and gaining in importance as well. Wales through already to the final, which will be played here next Sunday. Who will join them? It's looking good for England at the moment. Anthony Watson, I'm not sure, perhaps a rabbit popped out of a hole there. Something spooked him. And he appeared to be in the clear.
Well, Cowan-Dickie does superbly here. Just a good feat again. You spoke about him as, really one to watch here, and he does superbly well to set away Watson down there on the outside. Well, just a total lack of control, and there's something to be said for about running with the ball in 2 hands, isn't there? Dare I say it, a little bit of old school, but when we see that happen on the rugby field, I think it's severe down and back play. They're worrying signs for the New Zealand effort if they were to lose him for any reason.
And very often you hear coaches say that the hardest task very often is to teach some guys basic skills, like taking a pass and giving a pass. And as you say, holding the ball in 2 hands, because that does pose problems for the opposition defence. Pelahami Fiver down. He won't give in very easily. Great atmosphere here, isn't there, at the Stade de la Rabine.
Got to say, the crowd may be a little bit shocked at the moment by the domination that England have got over New Zealand, because New Zealand haven't played all their pool matches up here, so have created a little bit of a local following, if you like, here in Vaughan. And, well, as England have taken it to them, they've really done their homework on this New Zealand side, and they're shutting down every threat pretty much at the moment, and shutting it down pretty comfortably.
Touch. Sit.
So New Zealand missing 5 tackles to England's 3.
I want you pushing straight. I don't want you going back and around.
Coming around the corner. Danny Hobbs-Awoyemi on loan to Coventry at the beginning of this year. He studies closely the play of Suani Tongi'Hua, the Burley Northampton Saints prop. Not a bad player to model yourself on.
Just see there, he's just slipped through on the inside, hasn't he? Just referee Barrow there, calling it to keep it straight. Believes it was a clear tactic being utilised, with the words of the referee.
Tuipulotu quickly into midfield. Hickey, Emery on the straight line. Almost through the tackle of the despairing tackle of Harry Sloan, but he got his man, and Nowell gets in amongst the Blacks, and oh, but it's stolen back there by Collins, pumping the legs. And New Zealand in the hunt here then, with some 7 minutes to go before the break. But again, it's indiscipline which has let them down.
Well, the wide breakdown once again by the English is just outstanding work there. Great counter rucking. That occasion, Nowell stole the ball, and there the referee has pulled them up for a little bit of a shirt tugging off the ball there. Well spotted by referee Barry. There's been a little bit going in from both sides, actually. A bit of upfield blocking from both teams at the moment, and off the ball stuff. Very hard for the referee to pick these up at times. As you'll see here, Emery thinking he's half through on this occasion. Watch the counter rucking here, the attitude coming in there. Well, it was Hill in with Nowell, and here you'll see Collins breaking through. We may just see the jersey tug here, just pulling, just tying in here. There we see it. Tuipulotu, John Henry Slade.
Well, he can't miss Tuipulotu, not with that full beard.
Come on, let's go.
You said earlier on, Simon, they're big men here, and there are some people who are tweeting who would be in total agreement with your man. The chap who calls himself McCarg. It might be an optical illusion due to the current score, but the England juniors just look bigger and stronger than the baby Blacks.
It's always been, you know, something in Northern Hemisphere has always felt an inferiority against the Southern Hemisphere teams, haven't they, physically, particularly at this age level, because they feel they mature that just that little bit later. But we've seen with Wales beating a very big South African team tonight. We saw Ireland beating Australia, a very big Australian team. Now we see England, I'm not going to say dominating completely, but really physically taking it to the New Zealand side, that they're more than closing the gap there.
Collins taking the ball early. Webber to Fuatai. Now then, New Zealand looking to stretch the England defence one way, then the other. Tuipulotu, but look at how the English forwards are in there very quickly into the tackle area. Collins again asking questions and getting the answer from Harry Sloan. There's no way through. A loose ball snapped up there by Hickey. Fuatai once again in the hunt, in the thick of it. Fiver is the man out wide on the right. He's got Joseph Edwards with him, but Tuipulotu once again asked to do the donkey work. Chip, lovely chip from Adams, but plenty of time for Jack Nowell to call the mark.
Well, I think that chip from Adams there sums up where they're going with their attacking play, doesn't it? Just running out of ideas there. And New Zealand, they're looking good. There's one phase of play where they are looking good, is on their reloads if they can hit it back down the blind side. There, Collins half exposed a gap again down the blind side, but this taking it to Woods and then bringing it back to the middle. It's just all a little bit too easy at the moment for England. They're sliding off very well organised and disciplined display thus far.
England in control here as we approach the break. Play on, says the referee Berry. There are men out on the left. That's Ben Howard. Sam Hill with the support. This is Ross Moriarty, son of former Wales international Paul Moriarty. His uncle Dick, of course, led Wales to the World Cup of 1987. Ross, born in St Helens, spent his formative years down there in Swansea. Now at Gloucester. Good work by Harry Sloan. And this time it's England penalised for the side entry. And England finishing this half strongly.
Surprise, surprise, who gets up with the ball from the bottom of the breakdown in the black shirt? It's Adi Savia again. But England showing threats right across the field here, aren't they? The counter-rucking work is excellent. They're competing well for the ball. Set piece is functioning pretty well. There's Adi Savia. He's already taken in the deep breaths.
Well, he's putting in a huge shift as Adi Savia.
That's what Edwards coming across with the cover tackle there on it. Well, it looked dangerous there, didn't it? The attack down the left side for Edwards. Anyway, we're off again.
Very lovely pass, but it's cut out here by Anthony Watson. He's held on to it this time, and Watson is going to extend England's lead before the break. Again, New Zealand looking to force the pass perhaps, but Anthony Watson, the man on the spot, his first try in the tournament. Look at this.
Well, we felt New Zealand were just going wide at the moment, and it wasn't on at all, the pass from Emery. You've got to say the English defence is shifting beautifully. What the inside shift allows then is for Watson, who's up flat, just to keep his eye on the ball and make an easy read on that one. He's picked it off beautifully. And as you called it, he's held it on this occasion here. Probably the much harder, difficult catch to make for the young man. But he's finished it very well. And you've got to say that's a result of pressure. New Zealand trying to force a play. England patient, disciplined, well taken try. Was it against the runner play? Sure, an interception always is. But you've got to say they deserve this lead going in here at the break, because they're really dominating New Zealand in pretty much all aspects of the game thus far. And the New Zealand coaching group are going to have to get their heads together pretty quickly to work things out here. We'll see from the line-out. Look at the shift in the midfield. Absolutely no panic from all the players. They're fine. Numbers are on, and there it is. That pass was going nowhere. And that was well taken on the outside by Watson. Great finish. New Zealand with it all to do here in Vaughan.
New Zealand 5, England 20 into the final minute of the first half. And apart from that effort from Hami Fiver, England have not really been under extreme pressure. They look comfortable in defence as Howard gives chase, almost gathers the high ball.
Body language is a big thing out there in all team sport, isn't it? Just quite interesting to see there. Hickey a little bit reluctant to go up for that one. All of a sudden, England are flying into it. And there are certain games in a knockout rugby, it's always the case. Hey, someday the ball's going to bounce your way, and when it does, you've got to take advantage of it. In the first, 40 minutes gone here, it's bouncing England's way at the moment, but they've got that want about them. They're the ones who are holding their heads high. New Zealand, the shoulders are drooping just a little bit. Halftime probably can't come quick enough for them.
Well, we've arrived at the 40, and England have a 15-point advantage. That's 3 scores in anyone's book as Edwards digs it out. And this could be the last chance of the first half for England. Ficenia does well to keep the ball in play. Adams to Hickey to Tuipulotu in midfield on the angle. Good clearing out work from New Zealand there. Collins just holds it up for Emery. Hickey, the big man in midfield, that's Shoni Mafileo. Advantage, New Zealand here.
I believe it's clearly through the gate.
Not coming in through the gate, and an apology from Luke Cowan-Dickie.
Well, no choice here for New Zealand. They've got to take the 3 points on, albeit 47 out. But we'll see there Cowan-Dickie coming through the middle, and we talk about these subtle penalties being given away, the subtle off-the-ball types of play here. Here, Hickey goes into the breakdown area. We'll see the ball's been made available. Have a look. Cowan-Dickie's losing his feet, hands on, wandering through. Well, he feels he was legal coming straight through the middle, but he's been doing it all night, both sides, but very frustrating for the New Zealanders, and it's very good play by the English hooker. Really putting pressure on New Zealand at the breakdown. That's where they're winning the battle here.
Hickey just had the one kick at the post, and that was the conversion attempt of Hame Fiver's try after 9 minutes. This then almost from halfway. He was putting them over from halfway yesterday, captain's run, and he's on the mark again, and he claims New Zealand's second score, the penalty at the stroke of half-time. It's New Zealand 8, but England have a healthy, if not a commanding lead. They have 20 points.
Skip.
Big difference going in, only 2 scores down. We know they're capable of scoring tries quickly, but the way England are playing, it's going to be very tough.
It certainly is, but we've seen New Zealand in all their games come out very strongly at the top of the second half, so England will have to be very, very aware and wary here.
We'll just see the penalty coming in against the captain there, Clifford, side entry.
Yeah, Jordan Manihira is on for New Zealand, wearing 19. And he's a potent attacker with ball in hand. Collins, not for the first time. This is Mafileo. This is better from New Zealand. Adi Sevilla. Popper pass there from Rangihuna. Tackle wasn't completed. This is much better work from New Zealand. They know they have to score early in this second half, because England have looked very, very comfortable in the opening 40.
Release White!
Fiver, the New Zealand try scored after 9 minutes of play. Hickey running into heavy traffic here.
Hold.
He made the ball available. Barrett spinning out of the tackle from Ross Moriarty. Brighouse. Coached by ex-Salmon prop Brendan Reedy at Marist St Pat's in Wellington.
Hold now.
The replacement, Jordan Rangihuna. New Zealand putting a number of phases together as they come wide this time perhaps. Oh, huge clash there. Collins and his opposite number, Harry Sloan. What a hit that was.
Well, Sloan read the play beautifully there from the outside, but again, New Zealand timing as to when they're going to go wide. We'll just see the numbers stacking up here, and you'll see they had extra men over England, so they can pick it off here and take their time, really set their defensive line. First time they decided to go wide in the whole build-up here. We possibly went through 8 or 9 phases of play where New Zealand were very much more direct in their approach. And I think that's got to be the message that's come from the coaches at half-time. We've got to be direct because they're just covering the field at the moment. We've got to take them on. And as it is, well, they get a scrum, a chance to force more pressure.
That's a nasty cut, the clash of heads. That's Michael Collins. It looks as if his game is over. That'll need a few stitches. But no damage to Sam Hill, it was, my mistake. His opposite number. Tay Walden. There's the man who's replaced Collins. One of 3 Otago midfielders in this New Zealand squad from the Southern RFC club in Dunedin. Went south for studies and rugby. Lovely pass out from the scrum half. Webber almost gets to the try line himself. Did the ball go forward? Yes, it did, said Stuart Berry. But a lovely pass there from the replacement scrum half Sheridan Rangihuna. And that's the threat of Joe Webber.
Rangihuna does very well. You called it as a great pass to the outside. Webber with a step and go again to the outside. But superb cover tackle once again. You think he's in there for all money. But superb play by Sam Hill there that forced the mistake. out of New Zealand yet again. Hanging on England. They're organised, they're confident in what they're doing there defensively.
Two huge contributions there from Sam Hill.
Touch. 6. And City.
Calling against Brighouse here, number 1 going early, ball's not fed. I have a real problem with what the referees are trying to do with the scrummaging here. You see there, the number 9 was looking at the referee there, Alex Day, waiting for the referee to say ball, waiting for him to put it in. Now it's very difficult, and I think there are real timing issues here. You had a chance for New Zealand to go quickly because it was only a free kick.
Hickey to Webber, just can't get away, can he? Joe Webber. Neither can Hickey. Severe will have a go, but again, forcing the passes here, looking for his Super 15 colleague, Jason Emery. But there's just no room whatsoever for New Zealand to play with.
This is where the composure is going to be tested on these young men, isn't it? They do not have a lot of experience. We just see here, Alex Day looking, can I put it in? Can I put it in? Well, you feel it could have gone in earlier, don't you? And the referees, again, they're trying to react to what their guidance that they've been given from above with the IRB. And it's always a difficult one scrum time for everybody.
Palm down there by Ross Moriarty.
Not straight was the call. Tuipulotu did well. New Zealand possibly would have liked the advantage to play from it.
It's pretty easy when it's on your side because your trigger should be the ball coming in. You don't see here to see the ball.
Yeah, like a lot of props I know, I can't hear. Is what the message was from Don Brighouse to the referee.
Touch. Sit. Steady. Ball. Air ball's out.
New Zealand finding it difficult to control the ball. It's out, and England have won that one against the head, so to speak. Sloan looking to bring Howard in onto the scissors there. The young man who's already had Amlin Cup experience in Europe, the secondary European tournament. David Sisi. A huge telling contribution there. Now then they have the confidence to throw the ball around to do the English. Elliot Stook, 2 meters tall in the line-out, as is Dom Barrow, his colleague. There he is, wearing 5 huge men. And 116 kilograms and 114 respectively. And the last man up, Adi Sevilla.
Once again, very accurate work, breakdown work by this English side across the board. I've been most impressed with them in the backfield, right through the loose forwards. Obviously, they've been very, very impressive tonight, but everybody working extremely hard in the breakdown area.
Yeah, ably led there by a young man born in Brisbane, Australia, Jack Clifford. Did his debut for the Harlequins at King's Home, Gloucester, back in March. Day. Good work again. Howard to Slade, looking for Watson. Slips. And Webber has to hurry back into defence here, but sterling work by Watson. Staying on his feet, the support is there. Nowell, he'll have a go himself, pumping those burly legs of his. Almost to the New Zealand try line, and a try here would certainly kill off New Zealand hopes. On the angle, then it's a loose head prop forward, Hobbs-Awoyemi. The maul has been established, but again, New Zealand do exceptionally well. And how important might that be in the context of this match, the defensive work of New Zealand.
Manahira was the man who was decisive in that action there. Got his hands on the ball, wrapped it up, was calling to the referee, it's a maul, it's a maul. And the moment that maul goes to ground, as we'll see the play being brought through here by Nowell, and we just, as we know, it's gone to ground here. It's taken on this situation here by the big prop, Hobbs-Awoyemi, we'll just see here, held up here, calling to the referee. Ball held up, collapse maul scrum. New Zealand ball.
Defensive New Zealand scrum, 5 metres out from their own try line, and England look to get the nudge on and spoil that New Zealand scrum again. They have done so, but they've done so illegally, and again they're guilty of walking around the scrum. And the man penalised is Matt Hankin, the England number 7. So a chance for Hickey to clear into touch. Doesn't get much distance on the on his kick. A little too far out, perhaps, for New Zealand, for England, if they want to compete on this line-out.
Big ask for Joseph Edwards moving to the back of the scrum to number 8, isn't it, to control when the scrum is moving that much. That's 2 scrums in a row, been pretty messy from New Zealand. Their line-out both functioning pretty well.
Tuipulotu once more winning the line-out, claiming the line-out. There he is, crossing in midfield, and that's given a simple penalty away. Yeah, an intentional obstruction. Things are not going New Zealand's way at all, but that's to take nothing away from the English effort.
They're not going New Zealand's way because they're not being allowed to play, are they? England have just been simply outstanding here this evening. Once again, just not to harbour on a point, but their breakdown work is superb. And New Zealand having to put 3 players in to clean out 1 English player. And then that leads to you're going to be numbers down somewhere else. The English defence sitting very well. They've got their eyes up. They're taking up the space across the field very well. They're identifying the threats and they're making their tackles and putting New Zealand under all sorts of pressure.
100% record for Henry Slade. Young man who played his early rugby for the Ivy Bridge RFC down there in Plymouth. Now studying for his BSc at Exeter University. Centre field. 25 metres out. Kicker of his ability doesn't miss those, does he? 23 points to 8 then, as it's looking more like a Northern Hemisphere final. Wales already through 18-17 against South Africa. Left it very late into the final minute before Ashley Evans claimed the winning score in the corner. And it's going to be a battle of the outside halves. Certainly Sam Davies and Harry Slade possibly, although there's plenty of time to go. Claimed by Ross Moriarty, and I have to mention Glencotten Primary School in the context of Ross Moriarty down there near Swansea and Morriston Comprehensive as well. And that's where he spent his formative years. Now playing Stirling rugby for Hartpury College, and has had 1 or 2 outings with Gloucester.
Play on.
And one thing I share with Ross Moriarty is my admiration of Mamuka Gurgodze, the Georgian back rower. The gap spotted by Jade Terure. This is Manihira. Rangihuna quickly out to Barrett.
5, taking up the space beyond the tackle. Okay.
So a chance for 3 points, but I think New Zealand will want more. They need more because time is against them.
They certainly need more, but there's still, you know, we know this New Zealand side capable of scoring long-range tries, and well, you can turn those rounds in 20 seconds if you like, 15 seconds. They're more than capable. But on the evidence, what we're seeing tonight, I think they've got to take every point they're on offer. New Zealand under extreme pressure here. Barrett carrying into contact. We'll just see they're already past the break, already past the tackle area there was Dominic Barrow being penalised. They've done it very well. Very streetwise performance thus far by young men.
Jade Terure from the Kia Tour Club in Palmerston North, following in the footsteps of Aaron Cruden, the former Palmerston North High School Old Boys. Yep. Yeah, so the gap is down to 12 points once more. Terure makes it 11 for New Zealand against England's 23. 14 minutes into the second half.
In the game for New Zealand, 67 and 22, New Zealand 11, England 23.
The long restart from England, taken by the replacement scrum half Rangihuna. Nowell, another goal, loves to counter into the open spaces. Forces the miss kick from Rangihuna. Oh, Howard does extremely well. Clifford might not have been expecting it, but he did well to gather. Day quickly into midfield again. Moriarty.
Tackle only.
Dad and Uncle will both be proud of that one. Watson. Day. And we'll get a chance. Gap half open up for him. But New Zealand again holding out.
Well, now where New Zealand were, guilty of not getting numbers right at the breakdown. Now possibly England. That's 2 or 3 times they've been turned over here in the second half at the breakdown. It's been very effective work by New Zealand. But you've got to find your touch from penalty. Another opportunity for England to bring it back.
Nowell. Again, puts England on the front foot. It's a Dom Barrow, 17th game in the under-20s shirt. That's Sam Hill. Clifford.
You tackle. You need to release the ball before you get tackled.
They're not releasing the ball in the tackle.
Clifford feels a little bit hard done by there. We see once again the cramp coming into play in the story of this tournament, hasn't it?
It certainly has. In the last sort of 20 minutes or so, Anthony Watson and Brother Marcus would have been applauding that effort. My mistake. Hobbs-Awoyemi saw the one and just made the association. Well, there was a 4 attached to it. There wasn't on that occasion. Hobbs-Awoyemi it is that.
Release 2.
Money here into contact. Still they come through Barrett. They're going to punch a hole in that England defence.
Last feet.
Looks more promising from Mani here. Severe. Good work by Severe. Whether he thought he was tackled or not, he just left the ball there, picked it up again. This is better. Terure. Fuatai couldn't get the pass away, but it's there now for Lolangi Festinia. 10 metres out. All hands to the pump here now then. Terure. And it's the replacements proving their worth here. Mani here, a lovely pass there from Sheridan Rangihuna. 9 phases of play, but still no way through for New Zealand. Tay Walden this time, inching ever closer then. Joy Paloto driving hard and low. There's the England try line in the background. Rangihuna, one more effort could do it for New Zealand. Walden, Tuipolotu once again. As England come through the middle, advantage New Zealand. Terure. And still, Stuart Berry is playing advantage. 14 phases. New Zealand desperately want to score, want to try here. Severe. One more effort should do it. The long pass out wide, and this time the English defence has been breached. And a try claimed by Jason Emery, the man from Manawatu, the sole 2012 returning squad member, gives New Zealand hope.
Well, a very long build-up by New Zealand, and what it was made up of was strong carries by the big men. Number 19 there, Manihara, he was involved. This is the end of the movement. Drew does well to the outside. Emery, good body position. I tell you what, though, England will be pretty happy that they have given away the try, because I was sure the referee, Stuart Berry, would have gone to a yellow card. Repeated infringing in the build-up there, and clever play, I will say. Well coached. Cowan-Dickie there through on a couple of occasions there. He is showing a very old head on a young man's shoulders tonight, with some a cynical play around the breakdown area, but doing it very well. And Teruri, well, the replacements, they've made the impact that New Zealand required.
So New Zealand back within one score. The score at one stage reflected a 3-score advantage in England's favour at 20 points to 5. This is going to be a huge kick from the far touchline. It's there! What a magnificent effort, and at last the New Zealand supporters, all 40 to 50 of them in the crowd who made the journey, parents and friends, all these young players have something to cheer about.
It's not a warning, but I am aware of it.
Quite interesting there when Adi Savia just having a word to the referee just about what we were talking about round the breakdown area there. This was the finish here, though. And it was patient build-up, but what it was powerful carries that allowed England, that drew England back to the breakdown area, that allowed the space out wide. Well played, New Zealand. England now, can they show their test of composure here? How that's the next 10 minutes going to be very interesting.
And there was excellent refereeing there also by Stuart Berry, allowing the advantage to the full there for New Zealand. So, into the final quarter, a true test of character now for the English. They came back from a 21-0 deficit against South Africa. Lolange Fisinia almost up to the England 22. Well, that was so close, wasn't it? Laser Lolange Fisinia.
Fisinia was great play out here from the backfield by New Zealand. But what you've got to love is his effort chasing the play back here by Wiggins here, working back hard. You also had, not Wiggins, that's Purdy working his way back there. They did extremely well. The English showing the desire there in defence. It's the work you do without the ball that is now going to be so important. Superb cover there by England. They're not going to let this one go at all. You feel they're right in this one. You may feel a swing of momentum towards New Zealand, but England there showing a lot of spirit in that chase.
Well, as if we needed to be reminded, we are in the corner of France here, across the channel from England, and suddenly the local populace, the local supporters are behind New Zealand as Ross Moriarty takes it in. Hepburn is the man who's replaced the departed Danny Hobbs-Awoyemi. Well played there by the outside half, Henry Slade. This is Henry Purdy, the replacement. Dom Barrow.
Backwards.
Leads Carnegie lock forward.
On your feet, black two.
Never gives anything less than 100%. Hame Fiver. Student these days at Waikato University.
Now it's time for Alex Day and Henry Slade to stand up for England, take control, get back to their kicking game that served them so well in the first half, and try and dominate the territory. And they've really got to just take the squeeze. Now they've got to squeeze it out of New Zealand again. Possibly a little bit guilty of playing too much rugby in their own half there. Lucky to come away with the penalty, because this New Zealand side, you can see a real shift in their body language now, can't you? There's plenty of geeing up of each other out there. Lots of back slapping. They can lift up their intensity here with just over 15 minutes to go. We're going to be in for possibly another grandstand finish, one would suggest.
Yeah, the 15-point advantage that England enjoyed earlier on is suddenly down to 5, one score. And the game is finally poised, and New Zealand playing like the 4-time champions that they are. Into midfield, Purdy, that hitch kick. Oh, lovely work there by Jason Emery. Well, he's just scored a try, and what a crucial tackle that was on Henry Purdy, the Leicester man, who incidentally lists that man's brother as one of his favourite players, Julian Sevilla.
Well, we've seen penalties been given away at both ends. Purdy strong in the tackle area. Emery does extremely well to rip that free. Just have a look here at the technique. And we've seen a lot of players going for this now. It's certainly one of the more fashionable techniques we've seen in rugby coming in the last 12 months. It's a strip, ripping if you like. That one there was a two-handed one. Usually we're seeing the one-handed efforts. Emery did very well to control that ball.
Tuipulotu, he's been the main source of possession from the line out for New Zealand, and Jason Emery coming into his own. Very accustomed to the rough and tumble of Super 15 rugby in this game. Suits him. Fiver in the tackle from Scott Wilson, I think it was, the England tight head. The ball just skidding off his chest there. The senior called for it early. That's the long striding Jordan Manihira. And every time you see Manihira ball in hand, you can almost hear "Go the Mighty Dale" from the grandstand. He plays for the Silverdale Seahawks. Emery is an Englishman receiving treatment and could be caught up in the melee here. Elliot Stoke is the man. So England effectively down to 14 men. Can New Zealand take advantage? They have possession on the England 10-metre line. Rangihuna, Manihira rather. England steal possession. That's the replacement. Alec Hepburn, 17, good hands for a prop forward. Nowell, little dink downfield. Webber sends it way downfield. Plenty of time for Harry Slade inside him. Henry Slade rather, inside his own 22. Wants to keep the ball in play. Wants New Zealand to run the ball back at England. The speedsters out wide here. This is Tay Walden from Otago. Manihira, top try scorer for the Silverdale Seahawks last season. Not bad for a loose forward. Emery spots the gap. Puts the ball behind the English defence. I could see what Nowell was trying to do, was to get the line out for England. Elliot Stoke not looking 100%. And would you believe, yeah, this guy here is the doctor. A veteran of many a campaign by the looks of it.
It doesn't look well, does he? Arm holding it, a lot of pain.
Yeah. In the elbow area.
I think the players are very pleased for this break. Another long passage of play, wasn't it? Guys being treated left, right and centre. Many changes coming on now as well.
Yeah, on both sides. Daly is off for England, and it's Callum Braley who takes his place, wearing 21. First-year student at the University of West of England in Bristol. Nick Grogan. There'll be two happy people in the stand, and the parents of Nick Grogan. Met his father in the lift this morning. First take then for the replacement, Tom Price. Probably the tallest man ever to have played at Junior World Rugby at 2 meters and 5 centimeters. Now then, Lulangi Fisinia. And plays opening up here now, and Ardy Severe wrestling that ball clear. Lovely hands from Jordan Manihira, New Zealand. Oh, they've woken up certainly in this second half. They're not going to be denied another spot in the limelight and claim their in another final. Webber out to Emery, to the very busy Tay Walden on the England 22. Brighouse, good hands. Barrett finds the gap in midfield. England going backwards, but New Zealand coming forwards again through Jade Teruri. Sniping away there. There's Fa'asi Fuatai. And England may well have turned it over. Yes, they have. And what a crucial, vital turnover that was. As Nowell gets the ball away into touch, and a well-earned breather for his team.
Well, that's the work rate of Fuatau over there on the far side, but again, the counter-rucking, just great technique there by, as we see, this is the initial bust here. been made by Visinia. He pulled up injured at the end of it. Went as far as he could. The support couldn't get to him, unfortunately. England had blocked it off. Well, unfortunately, if you're a New Zealander watching this one, England did very well to cover that threat. There was a penalty advantage being played for New Zealand. You just wondered whether they maybe should have just stopped the play and said, hey, we'll try and take the 3 points. But as it is, still an attacking situation, 35 out.
Well, we'll catch up with the replacements. There have been a few of them. 12 minutes to go. New Zealand 18, England 23. And here comes Ardie Savea once again. New Zealand has scored 15 unanswered points in this second half. They still trail by 5. There's plenty of time to go. Visinia digs it out. Juggling. Jade Terure, advantage England as Cowan-Dickie goes in. Referee Berry once again playing advantage to the full as Ross Moriarty's bundled over. Braley waits. Well, Stuart Berry, fortunately for England, was playing advantage. So there's a little edge to the game now, isn't there, Simon?
Oh, there certainly is. You're rid of the crowd, as you say, right into it now, aren't they? And they can sense it. I think we can all sense possibly New Zealand now starting to win these impacts. And here's an example here. Moriarty, who's carried superbly all night there, just been tipped up. Well, albeit by a double effort there. Joseph Edwards really coming and putting the finishing touches on that tackle. Second half possession, that says it all. New Zealand 67%, England 33%. England hanging on.
Yeah, and we can't argue with our latest tweet from Mike Fisher. Thoroughly entertaining 60 minutes between England and the Baby Blacks. Going to be a massive last quarter as fatigue kicks in. Spot on there, Mike. 10 minutes remaining then. Can New Zealand pull it out of the fire here? They're suddenly finishing the straw, and look at Ardie Savea. He's really pumped up now.
It's just some campaign that, you know, all these young men are going through, isn't it? There's something to be, this tournament, the Junior World Championships, is something that gives guys a real taste of touring together, living together, and really living and breathing rugby for this 3-week period. And we're seeing the spirit out here tonight amongst all the teams who are taking part in this tournament. That's what's going to get the team over the line here.
Yeah, and can I urge you to go to the IRB website where you'll get confirmation of what Simon was just saying. Ardie Savea and his squad have certainly been made to feel at home here in Van. And I'll tell you what, they'll be feeling even more at home if they can clinch this one, having been 18-5 down at the break. And they've got all of Brittany, by the sound of it, behind them here. And I dare say 1 or 2 Welshmen as well, Mannix. But all credit to New Zealand for the fight back, and it's the way that Coach Chris Boyd has used his bench to good effect when it looked pretty dark for the All Blacks. As the sun sets over Stade de la Rabine. New Zealand edge ever closer to England's total, and closer still with another penalty effort from that young man. Jade Terure brings New Zealand within 2, and who knows, it might yet come down to a 3-pointer. New Zealand 21, England 23.
Well, there's the passion from the captain, and we can admire the comeback by New Zealand. Let's take nothing away from the team that are still leading this game, England. Simply outstanding here tonight. It's going to be guts that get them over the line here in this last 8 minutes.
Tuipulotu, safe hands. Well, commentator's curse, isn't it? Well, look for Henry Slade here behind the England scrum. There's a lot of conferring already. So what is likely to happen? Clifford, number 8 and captain. He's led England well. Look at the tackles that England have had to make in the second half in particular.
But they've made them, though, haven't they? That's the key thing for them. That's what's kept them in this game. Now they've got to dig deep and pull out a scrum. They've struggled here in the last 2 scrums. The New Zealand changes have really added something. The fatigue we talk about on the England side starting to show. They've got to be solid here, but they don't go into their shells. They've got to continue to play.
Nowell is up from full-back on the narrow side here. There he is.
And steady.
Just outside the 22. It's an England put in. 7 minutes to go. Can they defeat New Zealand for the very first time? Clifford with ball tucked tightly under his right arm as Hepburn brings it up almost to the try line, 5 metres out. Didn't go forward, says referee Berry, who's having a good game. Nowell once again pumping the legs. He's been outstanding for England this evening as they come again then through Cowan-Dickie. Wouldn't he love to get a try against New Zealand? Braley, some neat little sleight of hand in midfield, bringing Sam Hill onto the sharp edge of the scissors. Stuart Berry right on the spot. Can England get a vital try, a game-winning try here, and a try which will secure their place in the final once again?
Hold now, last feet. Last feet,
Cowan-Dickie will have a go here. Almost to the try line. He might not get there. Again, it's another effort which will bring in the TMO. And he is Monsieur Eric Gozan.
Just move away, just move away, just move away.
Referee Berry has blown the whistle. What a decision the TMO has to make here.
Take a step, please.
What was the question, I wonder, from Stuart Berry to Eric
Just go
Gozan?
back 10 for me, White. Time off, we're going upstairs. Eric, can you hear me? Eric, can you give me a reason not to award this try, please?
That is the question I was listening out for. Is there any reason why I can't award a try? Stuart Berry is content that a try has been scored.
Well, I'll give you one reason. You can't see the ball.
Well, he was on the spot there.
I don't know. Have a look here. We'll just see a ground in there. No, we're not going to see anything because, you know, as players now are fully aware of, well, this is the action here we're looking at. Well, I don't know how the TMO is going to award anything.
Well, is there any reason why I can't award the try?
Maybe this angle might show us something different.
That was a question, not try or no try.
Is there any reason why we cannot award the try? And on that evidence here, that's a try.
It's
great body
try
position.
line.
He's
On
cut the line.
line.
That's a try. And that there is England into the final for me because they're going to go out to 2 scores with the conversion. This should be awarded. You'll see here the ball just cut the line here, and that's all it has to do. If we just take it back a frame or two, just from this angle here, the ball quite clear to us. As he comes in, great body height.
Everyone holding their
and
breath.
there it is there over the line. Try
around
time.
the ground.
Yes, sir.
Is it a try? You may award the try, and England breathe a little easier now as they claim a vital score which surely now takes England to a final against Wales on Sunday.
Assuming we kick the conversion because it looks very easy from up here.
Very difficult to see who scored.
Well, just 5 metres to the side of the post.
Henry Slade.
Should be a formality for him.
Well, 5 from 5. It's been an exceptional kicking display from the young man from the Exeter Chiefs. 65 points in this year's Six Nations, but there won't be any more vital score than that one, perhaps, which takes England out to 2 clear scores with 5 minutes remaining. It's New Zealand 21, England 30.
Well, we spoke about the spirit and the guts to get them over the line, and they showed it, didn't they? Finally, they got their hands on the ball, held it very well, and scored a very well-taken try. And now they bundle New Zealand into touch. And now we talk about again, I've spoken about the shift in body language. England was slowing it down. Cool heads required out there now. You've got to negotiate 4.5 minutes to make your first final ever.
Well, it looks as if it's going to be an all Northern Hemisphere final for the very first time in the competition's history. 3 tries for England. It looked ominous when Jade Tirure kicked that penalty a few minutes ago, and England come again through the replacement Tom Smallbone from the London Irish club. Cowan-Dickie hanging on to that ball for grim death, but it's advantage New Zealand severe. Almost the interception from Tom Price. Fuatai. But what a cracking semi-final it has been. And this young man has certainly played his part since he's come on. That's Jade Tirure. Joseph Edwards. We'll see more of him, I'm sure. Could well be in the senior all-black shirt one day. Shown great promise. And New Zealand battling away to the final whistle. It's an 80-minute game, tipped forward there by Watson. Stuart Berry,
good call,
keeping it interesting, isn't he? Fuatai. And 2 New Zealand players injured and out of the game. A little bit of niggle creeping in as well. And England just want to walk away here. 3 minutes.
Release White.
That's all. Separating England and a place in the Cup final. Snapped up there by Tom Price. Tom Smallbone, rather. The replacement locked forward. Yeah, that'll use up another minute or so. As it's Sean Mafileo receiving attention in midfield, and cramp, I shouldn't wonder. It's been a long evening in the scrums, hasn't it? Boyd Wiggins is the man coming on for Mafileo, and time certainly is against New Zealand here now.
Well, it's all gone for New Zealand, and it's time we really, we really take our hats off to this English side, the way they're prepared for the game. They've come in with an excellent game plan that they've stuck to. They've been extremely disciplined, showed a lot of composure across the board. They've been very impressive physically, been led ably from the front by their captain, Jack Clifford. All the back row have been outstanding for them tonight. We had Hankin until he went off. He was very impressive. Moriarty. Sisi, he's had his moments as well since he's come on, but it's just been a tremendous effort. Luke Cowan-Dickie, well, he's played a very intelligent hooker's game, and dare I say it, there's a touch of Brian Moore about him in his approach to rugby, isn't there? Right to the letter of the law, and he's played very, very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he'd thank you for that comparison, but I see where you're coming from.
One of the greats.
I see where you're coming from, certainly is. Great character and a great player in his time too, Brian Moore. Spurling then is on for Sisi. As New Zealand, they have to score. Well, we saw Adi Sevilla score right from the kickoff against Fiji in the first outing. Leonard Brown is on. Man called in last week as an injury replacement. There he is, man from Canterbury. Driving forward, just a minute and a half remaining here. And New Zealand, for the very first time, look as if they're not going to make a cup final. 2 scores adrift and 21-30, 9 points down. But battling away again is Jade Tirure, and England. Kick long downfield, giving chase is Nowell. Can he keep the ball in play? Yes, he can. Pins back his ears. Webber is back there. And surely now that must be it for New Zealand. Down by 20 points to 8 at half-time. New Zealand rallied and came back to within 2 points. But that effort from the forwards with 5 minutes to go and a conversion from Henry Slade sees England through to the cup final. what it promises to be a hugely interesting affair and entertaining, I'm sure, between the old enemies, Wales and England, and the first ever final between two Northern Hemisphere countries. Wales having defeated South Africa by 18-17, and England would appear to have this one now wrapped up at 30 points to 21. Nick Walsh emptying the England bench as Ollie Devoto, wearing 22, is on for the last minute or so. Ben Howard gives way. England controlling the maul here, looking for a fourth try. It's a penalty advantage to England. Well, they might as well run the clock down here and ask Henry Slade to go over the 3 points. 15 seconds. That's all. You will get the line out if that's what you want. Well, it's the first time tonight that England have looked indecisive. So Slade will go for the post because the game can't finish on a penalty. The crowd might be disappointed, as in France they love to see the forwards rumbling forward. But the game has been won by the English. The platform was set in that first half by that lung-bursting effort from their captain Jack Clifford, initially rounded off by flank forward Matt Hankin. Henry Slade added the points before Anthony Watson scored a second try, an interception try, just before the break. Hickey struck a penalty to make it 8-20. And in the second half, well, Terure has added the points to the boot, and Emery with a try, 23-21. And then that English try, close to, took the game away from New Zealand, 30-21. And Henry Slade was had an excellent night with the boot to put the icing on the cake and seal the victory from wide out. The touchdown flags are in the air once again, and it's congratulations to England. They will go through to the Junior World Rugby Championship final here on Sunday to meet near neighbours Wales. And the question now is, can Wales overturn that defeat at the hands of a very impressive England side in the Six Nations early on this year to be crowned champions for the very first time? One thing is for certain, we will have a new name on the Junior World Rugby Championship trophy this year in France in 2013.